Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today we're looking at the 3 most impressive individual performances from the new RLCS split, and what you see on your screen right now is the 1017 point game that Daniel put up against FaZe Clan in Game 2 of their lower bracket final. This is a really impressive game, and if you haven't seen the series, definitely worth a watch. Daniel, brilliant debut. I think second best player in this event to Justin, and this was a really cool number to see, because anytime that 1,000 point barrier gets broken, especially against world-class competition like FaZe, it is definitely memorable, and really just add another feather in the cap for Daniel, who's really just proven to be everything that everybody expected him to be and more. However, points per game can be a misleading statistic, and when you look at the 1,000 point game here from Daniel, you have to remember that it's an 8 minute and 30 second game. So if you adjust that for a 5 minute game, you're looking at somewhere just below 600 points. And even if we check when what number Daniel was at the end of this game, we come just over 600, and Sibyl just under 600 in the other team. So still a really high number, very impressive for Daniel to be this effective in his debut tournament against FaZe. But there are 3 really outstanding games that I want to show you guys. One from Middle East, one from North America, and one from Europe, which really blow this 5 minutes completely out the water statistically. So without any further delay, let's get into the first one. We're going to start off with Middle East. Fahad from Scythes against Sandrock Gaming. So here we are, Game 1, Scythes against Sandrock Gaming. Winner final for the Middle East region. This is a new team. IX, Evil, and Fahad. I think Fahad is the player who's joined this team for the new split. And they already in this tournament upset the number 2 and 3 teams from the Middle East, Falcons and the Ultimates. And now they're trying to take down the top dog, Sandrock Gaming. An impossible task so far this season for any team in the Middle East region. Sandrock are completely undefeated in both this event that we're currently watching and this entire season. They have not yet lost a single series. They've gone to get the ace match. They've gone to game 7 one time, but no one else has been able to do that to them. Let's see what Fahad and Scythes can get up to here in game number 1. Now, when you watch Sandrock Gaming play, especially in the Middle East region, they set a very high defensive line. They're on the halfway line, sometimes even their whole team in the halfway line if they don't expect a hard clear to be coming through. So one of the things you can look to do against them is to just try and absolutely boom the ball over their heads. So we saw Fahad try to do that, try to send a long shot over Khaled just moments ago, but it was saved. And look at that drop down pass from Fahad, getting a save and also trying to not clear the ball too far, because if you're not going to go for the hard clear, if you're not able to get a hard clear, then why bother? But another one goes in for Sandrock. Looks like Evil was just out of boost there, slightly out of position. Sandrock up 2-0 already. This is something that they do all the time. They just completely blow teams away early on in game 1 with a super aggressive style. And now Fahad with a great challenge and a double tap. He's able to get a nice little 1v2 play on Sandrock. Ahmad not expecting that one, as the recovery came through really quickly there. Risky kickoffs, as usual, from the Middle East region. As usual for Rocket League teams in general, especially pro teams, love to go for risky kickoffs in threes, cheating up the line, cheating up the middle, not covering the net. We've actually got a bit of lag here now. I'm going to let that happen though, because I've tried this already once and it lagged in that exact same spot. So I think that is just part of the replay. Looks like the replay just bugged out there. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. Fahad looking to snipe the far corner there. Ahmad deflecting it. Fahad staying active as he recovers. Not able to pressure the ball carrier, but he was able to get a knock on to TRK. The air dribbles past him, but at least Fahad has forced TRK to make some extra touches there. That made his goalkeeper's job a little bit easier. Now he's completely alone at the back with 3 boosts against Ahmad, and he manages to stop him. That's not something you'll see very often. Even defenders with 100 boost will not like to defend against an Ahmad aerial play. But now Fahad coming in for his 2nd goal of the game, and inside halftime he's already put up nearly 500 points with a whole bunch of clears, 3 saves, 2 goals, and tons of work as well off the ball, which don't even give you points in Rocket League. You know, points is a statistic. They're definitely, it's one of the more reliable stats for pointing out which players are doing well. But like I said, you know, points per minute would be a better statistic. I wish it was tracked. Obviously, points per game is one that's tracked a lot. Brilliant pass. Fahad finds Evil in the middle. And he's adding an assist to his tally already, 561. Remember I said that Daniel, after 5 minutes against FaZe, was just over 600 points. Well, Fahad is nearly there already, but not much he could do about that shot. He just had to pray that the crossbar would have him covered. Just to remind you guys, we're going to watch 2 more games after this one, and this is actually the 3rd highest points tally inside 5 minutes that a player is able to get against world-class competition from the first regional events that have happened this year. Great little comeback in this game by Scythe as they look to take down the undefeated SRG. Well, its infield pass does not find anyone. You know, on the topic of points per game and just points in general not being a perfect way to track performance and how effective performances are for various players, you have to always also remember that you don't lose points in Rocket League for making mistakes. You don't lose points for passing the ball to the opposition, even own goaling. You don't gain points if you demo the goalkeeper and give your teammate an open net, even though you're just as much of a part of that play, just as much of an assist in that play as the passer, sometimes more so. So you always have to look at the gameplay itself, and you can't just fully rely on numbers. But it's definitely interesting to see the numbers climb as Fahad surpasses Daniel's 620, I think it was 629 in 5 minutes against a relentless SRG, and manages to avoid the bump that Khaled is coming in for there. As his team just tries to hang on. There's no opportunities to counter an attack, but well done from IX, shutting down the drop down pass. Now Fahad is trying to keep control of the ball, trying to waste some time. Manages to win a 50-50 in a key position that's going to buy plenty time for his teammates, who are not sitting all the way back here. They're following the game forward. They're trying to track Sandrock Gaming wherever they go. Fahad again keeps the ball in the corner. And look how active he is in the middle. Every time one of his teammates is in the corner defensively, anytime they're on the back wall, he's looking to stay active, looking to be a passing option, looking to disrupt any Sandrock Gaming interceptions. Mind game from Khaled. Now into the middle for Ahmad. Pre-jump save from Fahad. Only goes as far as TRK though, and IX is able to deny him his shot. And that is just 1 second away. There it is. Game over. And with a double savior, 860 points, Fahad and Scythe are able to take down Sandrock Gaming in game number 1 of this series. And this is a great series if you guys haven't seen it. If you want to check out a real impressive performance from an up-and-coming team in the Middle East, definitely check this series out. This was game 1, so you've got another, well, I won't tell you how many games, but you've got another bunch of games to watch in this best of 7. But let's get into the North American game, which has even more points on show, and against a team that you guys might be familiar with in NRG. So we're on board with Sypical from FaZe Clan against NRG. This is game number 5, as all Wasteland games are in the new RLCS map order. The score currently being 2-2 from the upper bracket final. So it's the exact same part of the tournament as we just saw from the Middle East region. Sypical already looking for a goal for his team, but the power just was not there to get past the last defender from NRG. AJ able to muscle it through Garrett though, who looked like he's running out of boost, so 1-0. And come on Sypical, you gotta get more points. You're looking pretty empty down there. Just 26 to his name. Well, you guys you guys know there's a whole lot more where they're coming from, or where they came from, I should say. Sypical, I think, looks really good on FaZe. FaZe, probably the best mechanical team on, or rather in North America, if they can just figure out how to play well as a team. And I think, the main issue for this team, I've talked about this quite a lot ever since watching them play at LAN with Illusion. The main problem I have with this team is the defense. In offense, they look unreal. They're a triple threat. Anyone can make a solo play. Anyone can make a big out play that will create a chance for their teammate. In defense, they look a bit awkward, and they sometimes don't know whose job it is to go to the ball. They either don't communicate boost totals fast enough to allow their teammates to make the correct decisions, or they go for unnecessarily complicated plays, just put themselves and their teammates in trouble. But once they get into offense, their mechanics and their speed really do shine. and there's very few teams in NA who can match them. NRG definitely able to if they play well, but look at that from Sypical. 1v2. I think that deserves a rewind. We need to see this one again. This is absolutely disgusting. Pre-flip, drop down first touch, and then the finish as well over Squishy and Justin. That first touch is just crazy to see, though. It's really hard to control the ball like that when it's coming at you. Now Sypical able to deflect the ball towards first killer. That's a well struck back corner kickoff, resulting in a pass. And now he bumps the recovering NRG player back into the box just to buy some more time for his team. AJ to the backboard. Decides to go again there, and you know, it might look like AJ's cutting off Sypical in that play, but really Sypical doesn't want to go in there because he is the third man in the position, and it looks like Garrett might be able to get a good touch on it. And if you're not sure, better to just wait, let your teammate continue to ball chase from these awkward angles. It can be very difficult for the defender to control. Again, we're seeing Sypical just sitting back, and it looks like he wants to get involved in the attack, but he knows it's better to just wait and let his teammates continue to pressure the ball. And this is, you know, part of the reason why I don't really understand why FaZe have such issues in defense, as Sypical manages to recover and save a shot that was straight at him. Justin definitely outplayed him with the setup. You know, FaZe, once they're into attack, they're very aggressive. They stay on the ball. They don't give the opponents much time. They steal the boost away. They love going for bumps. They're really good at all of that. But in defense, more indecision and shadowing just a bit too much comes into play. So I'm very curious to see if they're going to try and make any changes. Sypical taking away a boost there. Even though he already had a lot for himself, he's taking it away from an opponent. Great awareness. Moves in for a third goal. So he's up to 448 points over halftime. Still a long way to go to be one of the monstrous totals that there were many of in this tournament. I'll just keep showing the scoreboard because I know you guys are going to be pretty curious to see the updates, and I bet you're wondering right now, how did he manage to put up 400 points in under 2 minutes to beat Fahad's total? I'm telling you, he does manage it. He just rotates all the way back into defense here, allowing his teammates to pressure the ball again. It's the right idea. As third man, never need to commit. You really shouldn't commit as third man unless you absolutely have to, and the situations where you have to would be dangerous shots, deadly passes, anything that looks like a play that will be worse if you leave it uncontested. But if it's just a slow setup, if it's just somebody getting the ball in the midfield or starting an air dribble from halfway, then yeah, it's probably just better letting your teammates deal with that. Brilliant first touch by Sypical again in defense. And he's able to outplay Garrett G with, even though he's got hardly any boost to play with. Now he's up to 717 as the saves start to tally up. Still got 150 to grab if he's going to beat Fahad. Of course, you guys already know that he does do that because I've told you the order. But the question is how? No points in that last play, and we're getting into the final 30 seconds of the game. This is a really key play there by Sypical. You can see that his teammate wanted to shadow, wanted to play with the reactive position. So he just gets in there nice and early, and again, he sees it. Neither of his teammates are making a play, so he decides he's going to pressure the ball, he's going to intercept it, waste all the remaining time that NRG had to think about making a comeback. And he's got 794, so final few seconds here have to be good for him. And it looks like it's going to be a pre-jump save to put him on 869. That's how he does it. Really well played there by Sypical. 7 saves. Some of these saves were extremely impressive, and we did of course have, I think, one play where Justin definitely surprised Sypical, but the follow-up shot was right at him, and he's able to save it with a pre-jump as well. But more than just saving, he's actually keeping the ball safe in defense, and this is what's most impressive to me, is that he's actually buying time for his teammates to come back, and we might be seeing an interesting development on FaZe, because AJ and First Killer, you know, they like to play quite defensively. At times, in other teams that they've played in, they like to just wait back and let their teammates pressure the ball, thinking AJ on peeps a lot of the time, and also thinking First Killer on a lot of different teams he's been on. But now that Sypical's on this team, it's very interesting, because I think Sypical could be the third man here. I think he could be the player who will just default to that position, and if First Killer and AJ can up the aggression in defense, I think it could really work well for FaZe, because you know, despite the fact that First Killer and AJ are really good at reactive defending because of their 1v1 background. Sypical seems to have that pre-jump ability, that reading of the game to an exceptionally high level. And I think whoever ends up being third man in FaZe, it's really just up to the other two players. It could just be take turns being third man kind of deal, as it often is in Rocket League these days. But whoever ends up being third man needs the teammates to pressure the ball, needs the teammates to actually challenge, to buy time for them. Because if you're waiting until the very last second to challenge with your second man, then your goalkeeper has no time to react, even if they are a pre-jumping god like Sypical. But that's game 2 here. We've got one game against, well, I think world-class competition that beats this one. You guys can let me know in the comments if you agree with that statement. Let's find out who it is in the last game of today's video. So I think this might be a controversial one. We'll see what you guys have to say, but I think apparently Jack's game in lower round 1 for Dignitas against Luminosity, that's formerly T, Toxic and Atomic. I think this is the most impressive individual game, well, numerically, against, and this is the key, world-class competition. So some people might be thinking, what, this isn't a world-class team? They didn't even make LAN. None of these players made LAN. And you're right, Ixo, Tox and Atomic did not make LAN. In fact, they didn't even get close to making LAN in the first split of Europe, but they've been, called out by Extra from BDS as being a team to watch. He said that just, I think, last week on the First Touch podcast. I made a video pre-RLCS, calling this team a super team, because really, when you look at what these 3 players can do together, you have to, just acknowledge that this is a really threatening team. And, based on just performance in the European event that just happened, I'd probably put their level at the 5th best team in the region. Queso, Dignitas, BDS, Endpoint, that has to be your clear top 4 based on the results. But after that, it gets interesting, because Dignitas eliminated Luminosity here in round 1. And the only other team, in round 1 of lower bracket, the only other team who beat Luminosity were BDS in the group stage, and that was a game 5 that Luminosity were winning right up until the end. Lovely little goal steal there by Jorias. Jack's going to be furious with that one, I'm sure. A little bit of a tilted camera, look back and forth, of course. Yeah, you guys can let me know what you think about this one. Are Luminosity world class? I think that they are, although they, still have to prove that they can be consistent. So do Team Queso. I think this is definitely one of the teams to watch. One of the teams in with a shot of making top 5 in Europe this split, although they've started off with a pretty tough position. Teams like Williams, Vitality, way ahead of them in points. But actually, that's made me wonder, what are the groups going to be for the next European event? I don't think that they're yet out. I don't think the European Regional Event 2 groups are out yet, because the qualifier hasn't happened. But Luminosity are going to have to qualify for that event, so I might end up looking like a fool if Luminosity failed to qualify. Then a lot of you guys are going to be saying, what are you talking about, top team? Oh dear, well, that wasn't top. That was an own goal to put Zig three goals ahead. Game 1 of lower round 1. Dignitas lost to Team Queso and Misfits. Before this match started today, they were not playing well at all, but unfortunately for Luminosity, they popped off in the lower bracket. They decimated everybody until they floundered against Queso in the final. Grand final, that is. Yeah, I still think you need to keep an eye on this team. And yeah, given the fact that they took BDS all the way down to the wire in Game 5 in the group stage, only to run into Dignitas. Bit of an unfortunate draw for them, but at the same time, if Dignitas have lost to Queso and Misfits, then really, maybe you should prefer to play them on that day. Great pass by Jack, as Jorias gets his hat-trick. Jack, right now at 409 points, 3 assists to his name. So how is he going to get more points than 869 with only 2 minutes left? Let's watch and find out. See how he does it. Yeah, you guys can also let me know in the comments, which game out of the 3 are you most impressed with, because that's something that, will always be a bit subjective, but, will often not be the game with the most points. As now Jory is returning the favour to Jack. Scrub just getting absolutely carried. He's got 58 points. What's he doing? Jory is a Jack. I've got all the goals, all the assists, 100% goal participation. Scrub on 0. He almost gets one for himself there. He's probably desperate at this point. With a 5-goal lead for his team, he is probably desperate to get on the score sheet. Right now it's Jory actually who's on top of the scoreboard. And oh, that probably shouldn't have been a goal for Tux, but he's hit the bar. Luminosity, you know, coming into this game, I have to think that their mentality must have been a little bit shocked after seeing that they have to play against Dignitas of all teams. A team who are so feared in the European region at the moment. So mechanical and so decisive, so fast. There we go. That's going to be one. Atomic slots at bottom corner. And I'll keep checking the scoreboard for you guys to see how Jack manages to climb in the final minute here. But yeah, you know, so far, I think, you know, the most impressive game out of the three, I think it would be one of the other two. But then this happened. Jack put in one of the best goals of the entire tournament. And he's on top. Hat-trick for Jack. With the triple tap, little reset thrown in. And a finish with a backflip. Beautiful. From apparently Jack. So yeah, first 4 minutes, you know, you'd probably have to say Fahad. And then Sipical made some great plays, some great pre-jump saves at the end of his game. But then Jack scores this goal. But yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, who do you guys think had the best game out of these three? Points don't tell the full story, like I said before. You don't lose points for bad plays, and you don't gain points for some of the good plays that you can be making. Off the ball, physically, or even if you start a passing play that ends up involving your entire team, you know, only the player who got the last touch before the scorer will get credited the assist, even if there is a full team passing play. Yeah, I think given the circumstances, well, given the score lines, I think for me the most impressive game would be Fahad. So I think in, you know, kind of in reverse order here, I'd say Fahad's is the most impressive game, followed by Sipical, followed by Jack, because in this game, which Jack managed to get 909 points, he did pick up a savior medal at the end there. So you got 3 goals, 3 assists, 3 saves, and of course when you do that, you do get bonus points. So that's where you got all the points from. 909 in 5 minutes against Luminosity, who, you know, they're not NRG level, but they are, I think, still world class. This is a team to be reckoned with, and I'm sure that their results are going to prove that in the coming events. Well, first of all, should they be able to qualify through another EU qualifier, which have proven to be pretty treacherous locations in recent past. Yeah, you guys let me know. What do you think? I think given the score lines, given the circumstances, I'd have to pick Fahad for the best game, Sipical for the second best game, and then Jack, despite the fact that he got the most points, I think this was the third most impressive game out of the three. But still, you know, the amount of work these three players were able to do inside 5 minutes, really, really impressive. And that's, I still think, a stat that we should be looking more closely at than points per game. I think points per minute more accurately conveys who's performing at a higher level. But, you know, we'll have to wait and see what if I could do any mining on that one. See if I could find if it is being, maybe it is being tracked by something. I'm not sure if Octane rating tracks that. I really don't know how Octane rating works. But yeah, points per game still a pretty accurate stat for telling who's doing well. But never forget, there's more to the game than stats, more to the game than points, especially if you're playing ranked. You know, don't get upset if you're at the bottom of the scoreboard like Scrub here and your teammates are carrying. Sure, he's able to do more, plenty off the ball, and so can you. But yeah, that's all we got time for today, guys. Who was which was the most impressive game of the three? You guys let me know, in your opinion. And look out later on in the week for some 1v1 show matches coming to the channel. I was going to upload one today, but then I realized that I streamed it too recently. It was actually within 24 hours of now, so you can't upload Twitch content to YouTube until 24 hours have passed. So that'll be on the channel tomorrow. Luis versus Nolly, and then a very spicy show match the day after. So keep an eye on Twitch, keep an eye on Twitter for that one. In the meantime, guys, take care, and I'll see you next time.